Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
My message is that things have to change, and they have to change right now. 550, 45, there goes Davis. Oh my God, Davis is going all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game. Auburn's going to win the football game.
Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Aaron, and on today's episode we're going deep into one of the most defining conflicts of our time, the war between Israel and Hamas. Now this is more than just a war. It's a clash of civilizations, a battle between freedom and terror, and the world needs to hear the truth, not what the media wants you to believe. So let's start at the beginning. To understand what's happening today, we have to look back. In 2005, Israel gave up control of the Gaza Strip. They pulled out every soldier, every Jewish family, even digging up cemeteries, all in the name of peace. And what did they get in return? Well, in 2006, Hamas, a radical Islamic terror group, took over Gaza by force, not through elections, not through democracy, but violence. Hamas isn't interested in peace. Their charter calls for the destruction of Israel. That's not opinion, that's written black and white. Since then, thousands of rockets have been fired into Israel. And while the world barely blinked, Israeli families had to run to bomb shelters, sometimes with just 15 seconds of warning. No other country on earth would accept that, but Israel did, for years, until October 7th, 2023. At around 6:30 a.m., while most Israelis were asleep, and many were celebrating a Jewish holiday, Hamas launched a brutal surprise attack. They broke through the border by land, air, and sea. Over 3,000 Hamas terrorists stormed into Israeli communities. And this wasn't just a military operation. They butchered civilians. Families were shot point blank in their homes. Young women were raped and paraded through Gaza. Children were murdered in front of their parents. Elderly people were kidnapped. And over 1,200 Israelis were killed, mostly civilians. They even filmed it and live streamed it, proud and celebrating their crimes. And let me be clear, this wasn't resistance, this was terrorism in its rawest and most evil form. No country would tolerate what happened on October 7th. Israel responded though, not out of revenge, but to defend itself and rescue hostages. Over 240 people were dragged into Gaza, including babies and Holocaust survivors. The IDF, or Israeli Defense Forces, began targeted airstrikes on Hamas infrastructure, rocket launchers, weapon factories, and underground tunnels. These tunnels, by the way, were built with foreign aid money. Yeah, the money meant for hospitals, schools, and food. Then came the ground operation. Israeli troops went in on foot, facing booby-trapped buildings, sniper fire, and ambushes, all inside densely packed neighborhoods that Hamas uses as shields. Hamas hides behind civilians. They operate from schools, hospitals, and mosques, daring Israel to strike, hoping for civilian casualties just for the media. And yet, Israel has gone further than any army would in the world to warn civilians. They let out messages, leaflets, and no other country does that. But the moment Israel fought back, the world turned against them. Headlines started talking about Israel aggression instead of Hamas terrorism. Protests erupted in major cities, not for peace, but in support of Hamas. Universities across the West saw students chanting, "From the river to the sea," a phrase that calls for the wiping of Israel off the map. And somehow that's considered activism. Meanwhile, anti-Semitism exploded. Jewish businesses were attacked, synagogues vandalized, and Jewish students were harassed simply for existing. This is the moral collapse of the West, a culture more offended by Israel defending itself than by terrorists murdering civilians. Nearly a year later, a war still ongoing. Israel has destroyed a huge part of Hamas leadership and military infrastructure. Some hostages have been released in negotiated deals, but many remain in Gaza. Their fate still unknown. Israelis continue to live under threat, not just from Hamas, but from Hezbollah in Lebanon, Iran, and even radical activists in the West. But they're not backing down. The Israeli people know what's at stake. This is a fight for survival, not just Israel, but for Western values, freedom, safety, and the right to live without fear. Let's be clear. Israel didn't want this war, but they're fighting it because they have no other choice. We can't stay silent. We can't be neutral. Neutrality in the face of evil is siding with evil. Don't forget to stay informed and remember the truth doesn't apologize. Thank you guys for watching.